What's going on YouTube? This is Deke back with another Sorare video. Today I have 5 stacks, full team stacks to put in your lineups in plus EV matchups. So basically what I'm doing is taking a look at the odds, seeing what type of matchup these teams are, and you'll see some of the teams are very familiar because they're some of the better teams in the league. Obviously, if you have a big favorite going, most likely a lot of the players will score high points. You'll get nice decisives and so on. So let's take a look at the table. If you follow me on Twitter, I also posted this on there. So Anderlecht is the biggest favorite against Ostend. Then you have Salzburg. You have Barcelona from Ecuador. You have Zagreb, Dinamo Zagreb at Slaven Belupo. Colo Colo, LASK, Zenit, New York City FC, River Plate, and you can kind of see going down here. So what I'm basically trying to do is I tried to take a top 10 favorite and play around with some stacks to see what we have. So I have 4 full team and then 1 kind of split team, which I really like that one. I will give advice on some of these. Some of these are a little bit riskier based on you could get a DMP, but we are early in the season, so that risk is obviously very apparent. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to start with Anderlecht. So Anderlecht is the biggest favorite on the slate. So what I went through is I found 5 guys that are relatively cheap, and this lineup gives you a floor price currently of 0.336. So Van Crombrugge at keeper. I believe he will be the starter in my opinion. Wesley Holt at defender. Adrian Treble, Benito Roman, and Francis Amuzo as my extra. So what I would do to kind of change this from a full stack, I would play 4 cheap guys. I guess goalkeeper's not cheap, but I would play, instead of Rahman, I would put in maybe a Salzburg, like a Sesko if you had him in here to kind of bolster that squad. I don't feel great about him. I'm assuming he starts, but it could be a DNP there. There were some other choices that I had available, but ultimately this is the 5 in terms of a more of a value stack. I know 0.336 for limiteds is a little bit pricey, but for the best team in the slate, possibly it's not the worst. And they are playing Ostend at home. I expect them to get the win. Next up, we have a really underrated one, and this is my value stack. This is LASK Linz. They are at home against Austria Klagenfurt. And you take a look here. Recent price, 0.193. Lineup floor price, 0.208. So very affordable. And this is a stack that I really like and some of the players that I really like at a cheap price. So they are huge favorites, and I really think they're going to win this match. Take a look at the keeper. He is 0.1. He is the most expensive piece of this entire group here. So that is Alexander Schläger. I like him in general as well, but this is an ideal matchup, and if you have him in your gallery, I highly suggest playing him. I think that there's a good chance that they win 2-0, and he would be a guy that I'm playing. I'm stacking him together with Filip Stojkovic. If you take a look at his recents, he didn't play as much down the stretch, but 78% over the last 40. He should get back in the starting lineup, and he is a very cheap price. I know his average points aren't great, but I really like stacking the 2 of them. You could go after a better defender to kind of put in this, but it would take a little bit away from the stack because I do think that they can both get a clean sheet, that stacked bonus. My favorite player, favorite player for the price is Peter Michorel, the midfielder. He is a decent card, and I really like him in this matchup. You take a look at his last, you got 50, 56, 54. He could have an upside game here, especially in the matchup. The forward that I'm going to put, I also like him as well, and these prices are very cheap. 0.02, 0.028 is Thomas Goinger. 58, and he had the 45 L15. But again, this is an upside game for all of these guys. Then the last player is going to be Sasha Horvath. He's the most expensive outfielder. He's had some solid games as well. So I think this stack you can put together, and you can put together a really nice upside in terms of, I don't think a lot of people, I could be wrong, I don't think a lot of people will be looking at Lins as a stack to really attack that matchup. You might have some sharp people that are on that, but this is my underrated, undervalued kind of stack that I haven't put together. But this could be a lineup that if they all have upside games in the matchup, it could take something down like a Challenger Europe, or at least get you rewards just based on this. The next one, this is what I like more in terms of if you put together Anderlecht and you put together a Lin. So you have a little bit of a high value, a little bit of a low value, and you smash those together. So keep the Anderlecht pairing of Van Crombrugge and Wesley Holt. Keep those two together, and then you add Mishorel, Goinger, and Horvath as the Lin's kind of sneakier stack. And that lineup, it does make it a little bit more expensive, but it makes it a better play because you have more upside with this Anderlecht back duo. And, Linz's defender that I played, I didn't love, but you take a look, it does spike up this price, but this week is a very, very good matchup. The last two, you'll see this one probably if I keep doing this. You'll see it very often. Salzburg, they're an unbelievable club. The academy just turns out player after player. My one thing here that I wouldn't full stack them is Philip Cohn. I don't know if he's going to start or not. I would say, in my honest opinion, after doing research and looking on Twitter, everything like that, I would say it's 60-40 that Cohn starts over Mantle. But Nico, he's waiting in the wings. I don't know. I don't love it. Both keepers are expensive. I think Nico's floor price is like 0.15. I could be wrong on that. I think at time of recording, that's what I saw. I don't love that because you might get a DMP, and it's kind of a coin flip, a little bit shaded towards Cone, but it could ruin this unbelievable roster. This is my high end, so maybe a different keeper here. Then you got Omar Soleil, who is still with the club, and he's just a monster. Nicholas Sewald, who is also a monster. I expect him to have a huge year. You got Benjamin Sesko, who should get more first-team football this year and have a unbelievable year. I really think this might be his last year, and he's going to go to a bigger club. So I think he goes absolutely off. I do own him, so I am not trying to hype my own bags, but he will be a staple in my under 23s most likely, if I can find him in good matchups like we have today. And then Luka Sucic, who is another young stud. Young as well. I mean, all these guys, you could put them together in under 23 as well, and just it's an amazing lineup. You can see the lineup floor price is over an ETH, so it makes sense that this lineup is pricey. And then you do have some risks with rotation. I do think all 4 of these outfield players start, so my opinion, they could rotate, but that's kind of, I think these 4 have to start in this lineup. There is some rumblings whether I forget who else, Capuldo, and is Kamara going to play, because I do own Kamara. Who's going to play that kind of spot? But I think these guys are safe. I think they're very expensive. But again, if you are full stacking, be aware that the goalie might get a DMP, which is scary. So I do want to mention that. And my last one here, another one that you're going to see a lot because they're the best team in the league, Dinamo Zagreb. And I briefly talked about these guys before. This is kind of who I think the lineup they're going to put. It's about half the price of your Salzburg, but there's a couple reasons why. So Sutalo left the last game. I assume he's out. I haven't heard anything regarding the injury. He was a little banged up before the game, so I don't know if it's precautionary they took him off. He wasn't really feeling 100%. I didn't think he was going to start the last game, but he did. So If you take a look at Rasmus Lauritsen, I think he comes into the team and he has a really good game in that kind of role. They do have other center backs to choose from, but I do think he is going to start Livakovic as the keeper. You know, he is very expensive, but best keeper in the league. At midfield, I have Joseph Misic, and he is a solid guy, 0.045 floor price. Another guy that I think is going to put up a solid game. Bruno Petkovic, I have him as one of the players in my lineups. They could line him up at striker. They could line him up at cam. I do think he will start. I would say I'm about 90-95% sure that he will start, so I'm not really concerned about him. I think he might put a more upside game this time out. A little bit of a letdown last time out. And then Mislav Orsic, another forward card as your last one. 0.07 on that price. He is the most expensive outfield player, but I think you do want to include him in your stack if you are going full stack on Dinamo Zagreb. Hopefully you guys like this video, 5 stacks. You don't always have to full stack. It is kind of a nice thing to have if you have a full team stack. I don't personally have any full stacks. I usually do, if you guys follow Quinny, he talks about like sandwich stacks. Maybe put a goalie and a center back together and then 3 outfield players that mesh from another squad. I kind of like to do that if I can in my lineups, but a lot of times I just play them naked, just one from each one, and kind of go from there. So let me know if you liked the video. As always, I appreciate you guys commenting, saying who you guys like in stacks, anything you would change, and obviously I do research, but I don't know everything about all these teams. I'm an American. A lot of you guys know the language, and it's a little bit tougher to keep up on some of the smaller teams. So if you know something, comment it in the comments below, especially if someone's like out. I think, especially, I believe they changed their name, but Play Sharper. They have a great job of kind of putting out lineups that you think could have, and they have experts from each league. I like to use that. Some of it I don't put 100% stock into it. I do my own research as well, but it is a great starting point, so highly suggest them as well if you haven't already checked it out. All right, good luck game week 290. We're almost to the EPL, so we'll catch you next game week. Good luck, everybody.